Good morning everyone and welcome to Sugar and Crumbs. My name's Tracey Mann from Tracey Mann Cakes, and this morning I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how to ice wedding cake cookies. So I haven't done some of these, let me point this out. I have drawn them, so I have lots of sketches. So I'm winging it a little bit on this, but it'll be fine. Some I've already done before this demonstration live anyway, so I'm just kind of adding to my collection. So by the time I get to the end of this, you'll be able to see lots of different designs of wedding cakes put onto cookies. So that's what I'm aiming to do this morning, and we're going to just use lots and lots of different bits of equipment and lots of colours and different things, and we're just going to see what we can come up with. So that's what I'm doing this morning. Good morning, Nikki. I'm all on my own, so I need my online PA, and she's logged in, so I'm very happy about that. So Kelly's not here. She's currently getting ready to go to work, so she's not around at the moment. So it's me on my own this morning with my wedding cake cookies. So this is my last demonstration before I go on holiday as well, which I have to say I'm very pleased about. I shouldn't be really, but I am, because I'm going on holiday next week, so I won't be here next week at all. So this is it now until the next 2 weeks Tuesday, something like that. So I'm not going to be here for a while I go off to Yorkshire and have my first holiday in a very long period of time, so I'm looking forward to that. But I will post some pictures, and as you will know with me, there is canals involved and ice cream and scampi, so I will be fine. I'm only in this country. If anybody's near Skipton, that's where I'm heading, so I'm heading up in that direction, which is about 4 hours from me, so it's quite a long way because I'm quite low down in the country. But that's where I'm going next week. I'm leaving Kelly in charge, which is a bit worrying, but I'm sure it'll be fine. You know what she's like. It'll be absolutely fine. So we're going to have a look at wedding cake cookies. Now, if anybody joined me on Tuesday evening, so we did a butterfly cake on Tuesday evening, did anyone see the football as well? So if you missed out how I made the football, there it is. There's the little football, little sugar paste football. If you missed out how I made this, there's 2 places you can find this now to look at. So you can go to my YouTube channel and you're going to find it on there. Now you're going to find it on the Sugar and Crumbs video that went with the cake that I did. So I did a wave cake with blue butterflies on it. There you go. Breeders tried it. Good. It's good, isn't it? Isn't it cool? So if you want to learn how to do this, and believe you me, this is the quickest and speediest ever way of making a football for a cake, you'll just love it. Then you can either go to my YouTube channel and look under the butterfly wave cake, or if you're on TikTok at all, you can go onto there and under at Tracey Mann Cakes, and you'll find a very, very quick video. Put some lovely music, of course, some football music, and that again shows you how to do it on there. But it is so cool. I nearly thought about doing it again this morning, but I can't remember if I've got enough black sugar paste around, but it's so cool. Oh, I have got some. We'll see how we go for time. In case anyone missed it. But if you want to make some cupcake toppers now that we're in the final for Sunday, then you can whip these up really, really quickly. So if you fancy having a go, just go and have a look at either TikTok or my YouTube channel, and you'll find it on there. They are really cool to make, really fun. And also, what else was I going to say? Cupcake toppers as well for footballs. I've put those on a temporary offer, literally just for like 24 hours, because we can only post them today and up to lunchtime tomorrow. So if anybody fancies those print out cupcake toppers, we've got those as well. Breeder made a huge one. It's a huge football. It almost becomes a bit of a challenge after a period of time when you're making these footballs. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. But also, if you make them for little characters, they're really good. If you, some of you will know this and remember, especially people of my sort of age, when you had things like the chocolate footballs, they still exist, I think, that have got the wrappers on them, and I used to buy those and put them on my cakes, you know, when I would do a football pitch and stuff, until I worked out how to do this. And then I thought, no, I'm never going to do that again, because this is so much cooler, and it's more fun for me as well. I'm just trying to take that down. So yeah, I would make the little footballs myself now because they're fun. But there you go. So we're not doing football today because we had a lot of football last night, but just bear in mind that this football thing is on the last video that I did, and also on the YouTube channel as well, and TikTok if you missed it, because Sunday, isn't it? So there's a lot going on Sunday. Right, let me just move my screen down. Now this morning we're going to look at wedding cake cookies. So I have produced a new cookie cutter. For some of you may have seen it already. And it is a tall wedding cake cookie cutter. Now I can't find another one like it. I can only find, so that's why I've had this one made, and it's to represent the tall tiers of the wedding cakes that are out at the moment. Because lots of wedding cakes now are very tall, rather than being sort of this little sort of dumpy shape. They've now become quite tall. So I've come up with this new cutter because I want people to be able to make and reflect the wedding cakes themselves, because people order their wedding cakes and then they go, oh, I'd also like some cookies, I'd like some wedding cake cookies. And if you don't have the cutter that matches their new tall styled cake, you're not going to help yourself very much, and that's why I've done it. So I think most of you know already that I do a lot of wedding cakes, and that's one of the reasons why I've done it as well, to kind of help myself out here a little bit. So that's why I've produced this particular cutter. Now I've got another new cutter coming out next week. It's on order. It might be here tomorrow actually. I'm hoping it'll be here tomorrow. We've got a swimsuit coming out which is really flash, and for those of you that know about all my little printed sheets and stuff as well, it's going to make some seriously nice swimsuits. So the swimsuit one is coming out. It's not on the website yet, it hasn't appeared yet because the stock hasn't arrived, but I am expecting it tomorrow. The wedding cake cookie cutters have just arrived, so we know that they're all in now. So let's go across and have a look at these. So these are cookies that I've already baked. They're vanilla cookies. Let's turn this board round actually so we can get a bit more on that way. There we go, that's a bit better, isn't it? It's because I was filming the other way around earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim to do 4, and then we'll see how we go. If we end up doing a few more, so be it, or less, whatever, we'll work around it. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is made with Kelly's cookie recipe, which we do have on our website. We charge for it. It's £2. It's a laminated sheet, and I tell you what, it's brilliant because you can literally just put the cookie sheet just up on your work surface. Doesn't matter how much mess you make, whatever you spill on it is absolutely fine, because literally you can just wipe it clean and that's it, job done. So it's nice, and you can just put it away and then get it out next time. It suits me because I make a right mess when I do any cooking of any description. So yeah, we're winging it big time here, everybody. Right, okay, so we're going to start off with a little bit of royal icing. We're going to see that passing under my camera just now. And what we're going to do, actually I don't need as much water as that, I'm going to just mix it with a little bit of water. So this is standard royal icing, there we go. And we're going to do these in sugar paste. You obviously know you can flood cookies as well. I put a bit too much water in, so I put a bit more icing in. There we go. Let's tip a little bit out. There we go. Right, so we're just going to give that a bit of a mix so that we end up with like a sort of sticky glue. That's what we want. And then we're going to use that to paint on our cookies to stick the sugar paste down. Now you can flood with this, obviously, so if anybody's into sort of flooded icing cookies, you can flood with this icing. So whipping it up is the stuff that Carol makes on here on Sugar and Crumbs. So if you want to use that, you can. The only comment I've made about whipping it up recently is just remember that when it dries, it doesn't dry white, it dries yellow. So you will need to add a product to stop it doing that. So some suggestions have included this one here, which is Ingenious Edibles. You could try that, or also white dusting colour as well works quite well. You could pop some of that in as well, and that you don't need a lot. You literally need about, honestly, half teaspoon, something like that, and it'll just stop it going this sort of a yellowy colour. Right, we've done that bit. I'm fairly organised, you know, but I know I'll be leaping about in a minute. So I've got my large paintbrush here, and all I'm going to do is just literally paint. I'm going to just paint one cookie to start with, because I've got to look at my lovely sheet and decide what colour they've got to be. So we're definitely doing a white one to start with. I think they're all white actually. I did the different colour one the other day. Now I've had loads of comments about this in the past saying, you know, does this make this soggy and all this stuff? No, it doesn't. Okay, just don't put too much down. Okay, don't put too much icing down. So let's get some royal icing. No, we're not. We're going to get some sugar paste. That's what we need. So we've got some sugar paste here. I think it's Satinara, because that's what I bought in bulk recently. So that's what we've got to use. Oh, it's just the way things are. I go, what do I need? Oh yeah, I love some of that. And then before I know it, I've got tons of it to get through. So it's okay. I'm getting on okay with it actually. I know a few people are finding it quite soft, but do you know what? It's okay. Right, I'm missing a rolling pin. Let me get a rolling pin out. I knew I'd forget something. Right, rolling pin. Here we go. So let's get this flattened off. So you don't have to put great big sheets of sugar paste on these. You can have it quite thin. Let's go like so. Now, in terms of, I know someone's going to say this to me at some point, so I'm going to say it now. In terms of charging, the difference between charging for a sugar paste cookie versus a royal iced one. Royal iced ones, they take longer. So you know what you're going to do. You're going to charge more. They might cost you the same or even slightly less, but they take longer. My pricing group will know what I'm saying. Don't forget that you exist and that you have to charge for these things. All right, better to lose the order than get no money for it. All right, let someone else deal with it for no money and they can enjoy it then, can't they? If you want to do them for fun, that's different. Then you can obviously just do whatever you like, can't you? And then you won't end up feeling bitter because you've been up all night doing these. Oh, yeah, a lot of biscuits, that is. 100 biscuits. My goodness me, Pauline, that must have taken you a while. Right, so we're going to start with this one here. So all we're going to do, I'll just move that across a little bit, is press that down. And then when you put your hand over it, just give it a little wiggle. Can you hear that? Okay, and what that does, it just cuts it so you don't get hairy edges, which is something we talk a lot about in Cake World. We don't want hairy edges. So we're going to pick that up and just pop that on top like so. Let me get that in the right place. Got it a bit short down, hold on. There we go. I want it in the right place. That's it. Right, now I need to consult my notes and see what else I'm doing. So we'll do, that one is white. Hold on, what else did I do? And there's definitely 2 in white, 3 in white. Okay, let's do 3 then. Wedding cakes tend to be white, although my latest one was ivory. And the one I've just finished at home is marble. So there's all sorts of different ones, isn't there? So cut out another one. I've got about 9 designs drawn out, so I can see me potentially having to do a second live on this, a bit like I did with the other cookies, because there's just so many options that you can do. So let's take that, bring that one in here. Again, just paint a little bit of icing, a little bit of royal icing on there. You can use piping gel if you want to. You don't have to use royal icing, but I personally prefer it because it sets, whereas piping gel never sets. Okay, yeah, it's much better. Piping gel falls off. Oh, it doesn't fall off, it's just sticky. That's all. Piping gel has its place. I mean, piping gel is completely brilliant for doing things like water effects and things on cakes, but I don't rate it for doing sticking cookies down very, very well. I prefer the royal icing because I know it's going to set, you see, and it's not going to fall off. Okay, so put another one there. And then just having a look at my notes, making some decisions out loud. Oh, what else are we going to do, Tracey Mann? I am going to do, let's have a look. White matte. What I'll do is I'll do this one, but we'll do the top half, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So we're just going to put a little bit up here. We're going to leave the bottom bit plain, and what we'll do is we'll perhaps marble that bottom one. There we go. So we'll come back to that one later. So we'll put a top on it, but not a bottom. There we go. All right. Now, if anyone wants to know the size of this, I'm looking now frantically for a tape measure. Here we go. I can never find a tape measure at home, but I can always find one when I'm live, which is completely unheard of. Right, let's have a little look, shall we? So this measures 4.5 inches, or for those that like centimetres, 11.5 centimetres. So it's quite a tall cookie, but that's what we want. So we'll press that down again, give it a little wiggle. Like so, and then take that off. Right, then what we're going to do is we'll take hold of got my cutting wheel out today, and we'll just go straight across like that, or at a little bit of an angle. And we'll put that bit on the top half and come back to that one. Okay, because it's sugar paste as well, you can sort of stretch it and move it around. So if your cookies kind of spread a little bit, just kind of push the sugar paste where you want it to be. All right, so we've now got 4 wedding cakes ready to go, and we will come back to those later. Okay, so should we start with, let's start with a bit of marble, shall we? Let's get that done. So if you've ever done marbling before, it's very hit and miss, I have to say. Sometimes it works brilliantly, and other times you're cursing it. Especially if it's on a wedding cake, you think, oh my goodness me, what's happening here? So let's do, it's not a very big piece of sugar paste, we don't need very much. So we'll have a bit of white, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of white and mix a bit of black into it, not as much as that, just literally a tiny bit. This is black left over from my footballs, and then I'm just going to make that grey, and then I'll have a little bit of black as well. So we've got several different colours here to make our marble. There's several ways you can make marble. You can either just stick in a little bit of modelling, what do you call it, piping gel, and mix it really badly. That works. Or you can do this way, which I'm going to do, which is quite fun. And we'll do, let's move those out of the way for a second, so I've got a little bit of space. We've got, this is black, so we've got black, grey and white. And I don't need a lot of it, of the black particularly. So let's take this one to start with. Now the only thing you have to watch about is you don't end up with it all over your hands with the black. So we're going to take this, and what we'll do is we'll roll it like so, and then we'll take a little bit of grey and we'll roll that as well. So don't forget, it's not very big, so we'll roll that there as well, and we'll just kind of lay that along there like that. And then we'll take a little bit of black and we'll just roll that quite thin if we can, because we don't want that to be too thick. Let's cut that down a bit, and we'll pop that bit there maybe on the top. I'm not using any glue to stick it together, I'm just kind of placing it, and then we'll put a bit more white on top of that. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? A really bad one. Doesn't matter, you see. And we'll pop that there like so. Maybe put a bit more grey on, as long as we've got enough to do that bottom bit. That's all we need. So we'll perhaps stick a bit of grey on. Let's stick some grey on there, little line there. So I'm just basically putting on some kind of different, can you see? So there's just sort of a selection of bits all put together there like that. So it's just sort of random like that. I might just put one more bit of white on, because I don't want it to become too dark in any way. So we'll put one more piece of white, and then we'll give it a bit of a mix, shall we? We'll see how we get on. So we'll just kind of sandwich that all together like that. Is that going to do me? Or maybe a bit more. Don't want to be ungenerous with this and then find I've not got enough, because that will drive me crazy. And let's put a bit more there, a bit more grey, a little bit more black. Yeah, it's like a surprise this, isn't it? It's like this football over again, but in marble now. All right, okay. So let's put that on there, like that. Right, now let's get going. So all we're going to do is we're going to roll it like so. So roll it quite long, doesn't really matter how long at this stage. So let's go to about sort of maybe there. Okay, and then we're going to take it and we're going to fold it and we're going to twist it like that. Okay, and then we're going to roll it again. Okay, don't panic. And then we're going to do it again. So we're going to take it then, take it, fold it, twist it, like so. We'll do it again. So you're just keeping an eye on what pattern is forming. That's what you're looking for, to see what you're going to get. So it's a little bit kind of like, you never know what you're going to get. Marble is very in on these wedding cakes at the moment. So we want to include it if we can. Okay, just give that a bit of a roll. Like so. I've not seen any of the black coming through yet. Maybe that's just merged itself in with the white. Okay, I'm probably not going to do a lot more than that. So what I'm going to do now is take that, I'm going to twist it one more time, like so, and I'm going to fold it like that, so it all kind of meshes itself together, and then I'm going to roll that piece out. That's going to be the bottom of my wedding cake. So I'm going to put some icing sugar down to make sure it doesn't end up sticking. And that's how we're going to get our marble. Oh look, we've got a little bit of black coming through now. That's what we want. Okay. Also with this, I've found you can always turn it over the other side and see if you prefer the marble pattern on the other side. That's quite a good tip, I find. So if you're doing this and you think, well, I don't like this at all, what am I doing? If you turn it over, you might go, oh, actually, I prefer that side. So you can always flip it, marble. So let's just make sure we've got enough to do that bottom bit. How are we doing? Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Let's just take it a tiny bit further. Yeah, I think I'm going for this side. Now you've got to kind of think about how you want your pattern. So where do I want it to sit? Do I want the marble going up the cake or down the cake or whatever it is that you want to do? Doesn't really matter, to be honest, but we'll go like that, I think. So we'll pop that over there. I love making marble. It's very satisfying. What I don't like doing it is on a wedding cake and then hoping it works. Because sometimes you finish it and you go, oh no, it's not the pattern I really wanted. You can't control it really. Okay, so there we go. Let's take that out there. And then what we'll do is we'll run that across there like so. And then we'll pop it on the bottom of this wedding cake here. Which is going to look very similar to the one I'm doing this week, actually, at this rate. Though the one I'm doing has got a grey top. Right, let's stick that on there like that. And then we can just pop that on the bottom like that. So lots of you will know about these kind of marble type wedding cakes that are around. So there you go. That's nice and easy, isn't it? So that immediately then gives you that side of that cake there. Right, okay, so we've set that one up. We're going to come back and do flowers and bits and pieces later on. I haven't wasted too much sugar paste either. I've hardly got any. You can always sort of merge it together and get some greys and different colours. The cake I've actually got this weekend, that piece there is, actually I could do that. That piece there is actually a pale grey colour. So the wedding cake this weekend is this white and then grey. That looks very nice. Why don't we do that? So if I just take what was left here, if I just knead that. I did say I was making this up as I go along, just bear that in mind. So if I've got this kind of light grey colour here, which has come from there, let's do that. Where's my knife? Let me find my knife. Which I've no doubt put in one of my very special places. Let's have a rummage. I can only find a palette knife at the moment, or the world's biggest knife, and I don't really want that, so let's just use this. And what I'll do actually is I'll just take that piece off, remove that like that. You could have painted that grey, of course. There's no reason why you couldn't have painted it. So it's entirely up to you. So let's make this pale grey. Actually, it's not merged properly yet. Can you see I've still got some colour in there? I'm actually going to add a little bit more white to it because it's still a bit dark. I'm going to replicate what I'm doing currently. I'm going to need to add a bit more. And then, do you know what? You can always just do these for different kind of, you don't have to do this for weddings. This cutter, you could do birthday cakes as well. So, you know, perhaps if you're doing a Marvel themed one or something, you could always make it as birthday cake cookie cutters. So it's not just for weddings. I've called it weddings, but it doesn't really need to be just for weddings. It's just weddings is the obvious thing, isn't it? But as people know, recently I've been doing a lot of things with my cookie cutters that have led to other things. So my ice cream cookie cutter recently has made 2 other different designs. We've managed to make ice creams, of course, 2 different ways, and we've also now managed to make a hanging basket. And what was the latest one I did? I'm turning around to look at it now. Oh, balloons. Yes, we did balloons as well, but I'll show you those later, so in case you've missed that. Right, let's press that down like that. Again, we'll just cut across the top there like so. And then what we can do here, just put a little bit more on there like so. And then you can just take that. I'll tell you what, it's quite good for mocking up wedding cakes as well. You know, if you have to do a cake for somebody and you go, do you think that will work? You could just try it on this, couldn't you? And if it doesn't work, you can just eat it. If it does work, that's fine. Right, let's set up some piping bags. So we're going to have some royal ice piping, and we're going to use some piping nozzles. Let's have a look what we've got here. So I want to go for a fairly small one. I'm showing a little mini rummage here, if you can hear me in the background here. So I've got my piping bag, got my adapter. Let's start with, what's this one? Let's start with the classic PME number 2, which is a really nice nozzle, and you can actually get them at the moment, which is unbelievable because a lot of the other nozzles have become really difficult to get hold of. So we will rejoice in the fact we can actually get this one. And then what we'll do is we'll cut the end of that bag off, take hold of the adapter, and we're just going to pop that in there like so. Take hold of nozzle 2, pop that on top, and then screw that down. And then we can pop our royal icing in there. So not the royal icing we added the water to, just the standard mix royal icing. Have to do quality control, yeah. Quality control is not a bad thing to do, is it? Although if you're working in cake like I do every day, it doesn't help you after a period of time. Right, so let's pipe a little, what we would normally do, a little line of dots maybe between these cakes. How about that? So it looks like it's proper wedding cake here, maybe. And we don't need it to be too big, so you don't need a huge nozzle, you just need a little nozzle. In fact, I'll pick it up so you can see it. Can you see that there? And then we'll do the same on this one here. So some wedding cakes do have piped dots and things between them. Some of them are just quite plain. So again, entirely up to you, but if you've got a little bag of icing, you can sort of make sort of all sorts of embellishments. Plus, you can actually use the bag to stick some of your things you've made down as well, so it's quite handy to have. There we go. Okay, so that's that one there. We'll just leave that for the moment and we'll come back to that and finish that off nearer the time. I'm going to add some bits to that later. We'll let everything dry for the moment. Okay, let's move on to another one. So we're going to do quite a classic one now. So we're going to do one with a bow and with some sprinkles. So again, we'll make the bow. Now with this cake cutter here, what I suggest you do if you take hold of a cutting wheel is not just go straight across every time, but sometimes you can actually kind of literally just go down a little bit and up like that. Can you see I've slightly concave that rather than having it straight across like that? So we're going to come across here, down like that. Okay, so they're not dead straight. I think that helps as well sometimes. Now I'm going to, what I'm going to do with this one we're going to start using a modelling paste. So we're going to start using Saracino or Saracino, however you like to say it. There's all sorts of different interpretations on how to say this stuff, but this is what it looks like. You're going to hear my microwave start in a second because it's very hard, and in order to get it to work properly, it needs a blast in the microwave, not long, like 10 seconds, something like that, because if you hear it, it's rock hard. It's the cocoa butter that's in there that's making it all set, and we need it to set because that then helps us with our using our moulds. Now we're not going to use huge amounts of modelling paste on these. I'm going to just use little bits. So this has now made it pliable. Let's get rid of that. So this is now moving. You see, it's quite a tough paste, but we need it to be tough. And we're going to take hold of this and we're going to put a bow on one of these cakes. I don't know whether we'll do this one or not. Maybe this one. We'll do this one. Okay, now what colour bow should we do? That's a good question, isn't it? Let's have a look. Where's my things? Under here. All right, so let's have a little look. What have we got? I know Kelly's not here, so it will be pink, everybody. Kelly's not looking. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it classic white. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go full wedding. So I'm just going to do everything white for this one because I think it will look really pretty. Now I've got this mould here. I've got two bow moulds on here. So this one here is, this is called Bows or Bow Mould. It's an FPC mould. We've got a few of these left on my website. So if you wanted to use this, it's fine. There's lots of different size and shape bows. So you've got this one, which is quite sort of flamboyant. This one, again, you know, different sizes, slightly more formal, maybe down here, down to a small one on here. But we've also got this one, which is called Tiny Decorations, which although it has the same bow there, it has some real little tinies on here. And this is the mould I'm going to predominantly use to do these cookie cutters because the decorations on it are absolutely tiny and they're perfect for this. So I'm going to be going backwards and forwards between those. But there is a bow mould there. So if you wanted to do a bow that was a little bit more than this one here, because that is quite small, we'll try this one first, see how big it comes out. If it comes out too big, we'll go to the other one. So just take your modelling paste. And again, sometimes you have cakes where you have quite a big bow on there. And that is kind of the statement thing on the whole thing, isn't it? There is nothing else to kind of look at. So we're going to do one sort of similar to that. Now what I'm doing here, I'm just going to put a bit more icing sugar down because it's a little bit sticky. And then I'm just pushing it into the mould. Some green appeared from somewhere. I haven't done anything green for a while, so I don't know where that's come from. Just using my palette knife and not a sharp knife just to push the paste in. And the reason we don't use a sharp knife is because this is a silicone mould and you could end up cutting it. We don't want that. Don't want to damage your mould, do we? So take that out. So bend that back. We've got this very nice bow here. That's pretty, isn't it? So yes, let's use that one because that's quite a nice size. And then what we're going to do, again, we want these to be quite classic. So you look at it and go, yeah, that's somebody's wedding cake. We don't want it to be silly and just throw all sorts at it, although that's what I would be tempted to do. All right, and then we'll take a piece like this, and what we'll do, we'll find my knife eventually, I'm sure, just as this demo finishes. I can't see it for looking, but we'll just use the cutting wheel for the time being. And then we'll cut down here. And we'll just create some sort of tails. I'm cutting these freehand. They will be fine. And then we'll just cut it sort of at a bit of an angle kind of there. Maybe one a bit shorter. Oh, actually one about there. That's fine. And then we'll take hold of a smaller paintbrush, but not that one because that's my beloved cocoa butter ones. Yeah, it's a great mould, this bow one. If you don't have it, honestly, it's well worth adding to your kit. It really is. It's a super mould, this one. So I'm just going to take a little bit of royal icing and just stick my bow down. You can actually sort of even lift it a little bit. It doesn't have to be totally flat. So if you want it to be a little bit standing, that looks nice. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do before I do that. I stick these down first because then I can tuck that underneath. So I'm just going to take these ties. And I'm just going to put, again, you can do it with water as well, you don't have to do it with royal icing. And we'll pop that. No, that's not the right one, is it? Don't want that one. Let's get the one I cut properly. But I will do it with a bit of water because I can slide it around a bit more then. That's better. Picked up the wrong one then, didn't I? What am I doing? Right, let's pop that one there, like so. And then we'll take another one. And this one is a little bit shorter. You don't have to have it shorter, you can have it the same length if you want it. It's up to you. I think sometimes it looks quite nice if they're different lengths. And then I'm just going to put a little bit either side because that's where the bow is being tied. So I'm just going to take just going to add a little bit. Go back to my water again. Water or sugar glue is fine. Any of those doesn't really matter, to be honest. Right, so we'll put that there, like so. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So it looks like it's tied on. Okay. I'll pop that one there. There we go. Now you can always use a Dresden tool's quite good for this if you can find it, which in my case is always the worst thing on a live. Wherever I put things, I can see everything else but the Dresden. Oh no, I've got it, amazing. Yeah, I like them different lengths too. So you can always just take a little tool there and just kind of push that in, just so it looks like it's coming round the cake and it's not just flat like that. And then we'll go back to our bow. I'm going to put a bit more royal icing on because it's gone dry, and we'll stick a bit more on. I put too much now, it's gone the other way. And then we can just pop that on there like so. You'll recognise that this kind of cake, you'll be looking at it going, oh yeah, I've seen wedding cakes like that. So this kind of thing starts to then become a little bit more like, yeah, these are the modern wedding cakes, okay? These are not the kind of old-fashioned ones, and it's because the cookie cutter is tall, okay? So that is why I have a pot with my tools in. Nikki, if you saw the pots multiple that I have my tools in, you would laugh, because that is why I'm in a muddle, because I've got pots and pots everywhere. So that's two so far that we haven't finished, but we're kind of getting on the right track. So it's what we're moving forward to do. Now let's have a look at this one. Let's move that one back out of the way and put those over there for the moment. So we're going to come back and we're going to finish them all, so it will all be lovely at the end. We're just going to keep adding to them as we go. Now this one I thought about doing bunting. Now recently I did a wedding cake, another wedding cake, and it had floral bunting on it. So I thought, right, okay, we're going to use that. Let's see how this goes. It might work, it might not, but we don't have to do it again on every tier. We can just do it on 1 or 2 tiers. So this is the, it's called Pink and Blue Ditzy Floral or something along those lines. So we're going to have a go at using that. It's going to be fairly straightforward, she says, hopefully, all being well. Who knows, whenever I go live, all sorts of things start happening. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to just take, I'm going to just take my scissors and just chop a bit off. I'm off screen at the minute. I'll be back on in a minute. You can hear me cutting it. Right, so let's pick pieces that we've got on here. So what we'll do is we're just going to take my little scissors. I managed to find the little ones, not the huge ones that I had the other night. And we're going to cut little tiny pieces like that. Now these will have a plastic backing on them, remember that, because it's some Cupcake Toppers. So we need to get that backing off, which is always the worst thing to do on a live. Let me see if I can do it off screen. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. It's coming now. In fact, what I might do even better is cut this without the backing on, because then it won't distort. Because sometimes it can distort. There we go. It's coming off now, like so. But before you kind of get too carried away with it, have a look at it in relation to your cookie. So what's it like in terms of size? Now I'm actually okay with that. I think that looks fine. So I'm going to cut a few more like that, just incorporating that pattern. So I'm just going to go round, and I've just used literally the length of my scissors. So I've just gone sort of that way. So I know they're roughly going to be about the same sort of size. I've got to take the backing off, didn't I? I have to take the backing off now, and then I won't have to worry about it. If anyone's got sugar paste sheets this time of year, they can get quite soft, and that's because of the humidity. So if you're finding the sugar paste sheets have gone a bit soft, then they benefit sometimes from just being popped in the, I'm going to turn that round, in the fridge, literally for a few minutes. And that brings them back to life a little bit. So let's do this one here, because I've managed to get as far as this. So again, we'll just cut one with maybe slightly less pink, a bit more green. Put it down. I have no idea if I'm not on camera or what at the moment. I haven't looked up. Okay. Oh, I've got that one a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. For the patchwork cutters people, the patchwork people out there, it's probably going to kill them because they're not all the right size. I'll try harder. Let's get this off here. I want this off this backing. And because I've cut it, it's tearing. It'll stop tearing in a minute. There we go. Right, let's do this one. Am I still on? Yes, I am. Okay, let's go across to this one. I'm going to cut this one off the sheet to make it a little bit easier for myself. There we go. I feel like I'm juggling a million things there. Okay, so again, just cut like that. And we'll go across that way as well. Okay, so it gives us another one. So you probably only need about 3 or 4 maybe to get across the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe one more. Let's make that one a bit smaller. I want 4 really if I can. So we'll just cut that one down a bit. So you can always adjust them. I've made that one too big. Right, let's go that way. There we go. Yeah, I prefer them to be a bit smaller. So let's cut this one down as well. I think they just look neater. Well, you could be fiddling with this for ages. There we go. That's better. And then we'll have one more, which then gives us a row. Yeah, you could cut a small strip, Nikki. It's just because it's decided to glue itself to the sheet while I'm on a live, which of course is always the sort of things that happen on lives. Then, you know, I'm just laughing my way through it because it's being a pain, but it doesn't matter. We'll get there. Right, let's do this one. Do another mini one. Actually, I'm going to come across a bit further so I can get a bit more pink in there. There we go. The tiny rows on the patchwork cutter is very nice. Yeah, I agree. Let's turn that one round. There you go. See, that looks quite cool. Right. Now, once you've got them on there, when you've got where you want them to be, Let's say we want them a bit like that. Maybe, I don't know. Water, but you need to be careful with this because otherwise if you put water on the print it will fall off and you'll take the print off. So we're going to just, oops, I'm going to drop it as well. Literally just put a dab of water on the back and just stick it down where you want it to be, but be very careful you don't touch that print with water. Okay, and then we'll do the same with that one. And let's go that way. Yeah. Again. So with this floral sheet, you've got absolutely loads on here, loads of different ideas. I've used it on a butterfly cake about 2 weeks ago. So if you want to do your butterfly cake and your cookies, you would be able to have enough on that sheet to complete the whole thing. There you go, that looks nice. Right, let's see if we can get them down a bit smaller. See if we can do another few more layers. Hold on. Right. Now it's moving now. Of course it is. Right, let's get it off this sheet. I've shown what happens when it goes wrong. Well, look, you can see it's coming, but it's more, normally it just peels off straight away, and that is because it's humid. All right, so if it's humid and your sheets are struggling to come off, then you need to just pop them in the fridge and let them dry out for a minute. Not long, you don't store them in your fridge, for goodness sake. Definitely don't start that. But I'm going to cut them off this sheet because it's a little bit easier for me to handle. There we go. Right, so we need to do these tiny bit smaller. Let's see how this goes. Where's that one gone? There it is. Right. Let's see what we can get. We probably only get 3 on this bit. Yeah, 3. Okay, let's do 3. Let's see if we can do it. Let's just pick some random bits. So you don't actually, it doesn't matter if you only get a little bit of pink on there, because actually that looks quite nice. They're all not sort of lined up all exactly the same. There's another one there. Okay, oh, happy days, I like that. Right, let's go over here and pick up this one with that one. Love it when it starts working and it looks okay. I'm happy with that. Right, little one there. And again, back to the water, and then we'll just pick these up. Little bit of water on the back, stick it down. Let's find that one. It's a little bit bigger, that one, but it's okay. It's fine. You don't have to do them all the flowery pattern. You could also do different colours in between. So if you wanted to do a couple of different patterns, that would be fine. Or you fancied doing some that are plain pink ones, or you know, you can mix them up. You don't have to do them the same. I'm going to have to do that top tier now. If it kills me, I'm going to do it. Even if I have to do it. My 2 tiny ones, I reckon I'll get away with. There you go, it's come off the sheet now. Wonderful. Right, let's see if we can do this. I want it to work. I'm willing it to work now, so it should be okay. I'm having a little word with it in my mind. Right, okay, this one is teeny tiny. Yes, bring it on. Right. You'll tell by the sense of my voice that when things are going well, because I will suddenly start going, oh, thank goodness for that, and all this sort of lark. Right, okay, I'm going to have painted that straight onto the sugar paste this time. Might have to overhang this one a little bit, but it's fine, it's working. Okay, fabulous. Okay, so there's a nice bunting one. So that's a kind of slightly different style. So far we've got the sort of marbly one, and we've got one with a bow on. Now we've got one that's got bunting on it. I'm just moving that out of the way. Again, we'll get our icing out and we'll just pipe across here, except the nozzle's blocked. Right, and we'll go across. Just put a little line in there. So it's quite a sort of more vintagey looking one, I guess. In fact, what I forgot to do on the other one, no, I wasn't going to do that on the other one, ignore me. So we could do some spots like that. There we go. And then we'll do this up here as well. I think this one will near enough be complete, to be perfectly honest, because every bunting one I've done doesn't tend to have a lot else on it. Otherwise it just gets too busy. But we'll pipe across the bottom here. So it looks like we piped on the bottom. Yeah, I think that probably will be it for this one. If you wanted to put sort of little bows or ties or anything between the bunting as well, use your royal icing. If your nozzle's too big, go down a size. They do 1.5 nozzle sizes and 1 as well. I know my royal ice students, they love that number 1 nozzle. So I've got nozzle 2 at the moment on the go with my royal icing. So we'll go across there. Once that's dried, there we go, you'll be able to package that up. Okay, you won't have a problem with that there, so that looks okay. I think quite happy with that one. Very pretty. Yeah, we've got my little pearls as well. We're going to come to those at the end, and the reason I've left those till the end is because I tend to spill them absolutely everywhere, so I've learnt my lesson now. So I do my little pearls towards the end, so I'm going to put that over there. Right, now it wouldn't be the same if I didn't paint one, would it? So we're going to have a go at painting one now. So what I've got here, these are now these belong to Blossom and Leaf patchwork cutters. You can see they go in 2 different directions, and I kind of lined this up earlier today and went, okay, I think this is going to work. So what you can do is you can pop one on like so, press down, just rock it a little bit. Well, I hope it's going to work because I've not actually done this. As I say, I'm winging this a little bit this morning. Right, there we go. I'm going to pop that back on again because I want to just get a bit more of an indent over there. Okay, there we go. And then this one, because it goes in a different direction, I'm just going to line that up there. Just take, so this is a bit of a full-on garland, I suppose, for a wedding. Let's turn it so it's going off completely because we don't want to cover the whole wedding cake, do we? We want it to be joined up. So let's press that down like so. Let's have a little look what we've got. See, so it's coming down like that, and we're going to paint that. So that's our next job that we're going to do. Of course we are. So we're going to do that with cocoa butter. So let's bring that in. I'm trying to remain tidy here. That never happens, does it? Right, so we're going to bring our cocoa butter system in here, which is our food warmer. Now it's our chrome food warmer. I'm going to just turn my board around because it's trying to fall off. I don't really want it to do that because it gets hot. So I'm going to put that like that. And then we'll put the cookie back on there so we can see it. Perfect. And we're just going to light that there, not with matches, with this lovely thing that I bought, which is the best thing ever. And then we're going to pop the metal paint palette on top, and that's the bit that's going to get hot. And then we'll be able to melt our cocoa butter. So let's pop that on now. So this is cocoa butter, for those of you that haven't seen it before. You don't need very much. You get about 100 grams in a packet when you buy it, and it goes a long way, and it will melt, and when it melts, that's what we're going to be painting with. So this is the stuff we need. And then for this particular one, I've gone for, let's go for blush pink, which is a very nice colour. And then we're going to go for a little bit of white because that's what we need to tone our colours. We always need white. Go through more white than anything else. And then we're using, what else should we have? Woodland Green. Let's stick a bit of that in. So we're using dusting colours. Now, Carol has lots of dusting colours coming out, hasn't she? These Wonder Dusts. In fact, I've got some next to me. Let's show you what they look like. So they're the luster dust. They're sparkly and they're beautiful and lovely. In fact, we might put some of that on in this one in a minute. But I've got at the moment blush pink, white and woodland green. So they're just kind of matte colours. The other thing I'm going to do before I get too carried away with painting is I'm just going to put a little line in here across this cake. Now, did you note that I didn't do that first? And the reason I didn't do that first is because I just wanted to make sure, there we go, that my pattern didn't have, so for example, I didn't run that across and my rose had a line going through it, so I don't really want that. So I did the line after I've done the patchwork cutter. And again, there's no reasons as well why you can't pipe or do whatever it is that you want to this as well. It's totally up to you. Now the cocoa butter is starting to melt, and I'm going to use one of my paint brushes. We're going to use paintbrush 0 because this is quite a tight paint. I'm just grabbing some kitchen roll actually. Grab that. So we've got paintbrush 0. I'm just going to make sure there's no colour in it because knowing me, there probably is. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go for the blush pink to start with. That's very strong, so let's add some white to it. Let's tone it or lighten it up, not tone it down, lighten it up by adding some white. So if we get lots and lots of white going in here, then we've got some room to shade, you see. So if we do everything with this dark colour, then we're going to have a problem. Okay, so let's start with this nice light colour, like so. And then if you look at this pattern here, it's got some little tiny sort of flowers and leaves. So we're just literally going to just go round and pick out the bits that we want. So we'll start with this sort of big flower here. It's painting by numbers, everybody. So just remember, you're not painting. You don't need to be a painter. You don't need to be able to draw. You're just going to follow the pattern that's on here. So this is from the Patchwork Cutters Blossom and Leaf collection, and it has, I did another one earlier which I'll show you at the end using the leaves that are in the pack, so that you can use those as well. All right, let me just get a bit more paint going there. So we're going to come down here. So it's nice and easy for you to do. It's not a complicated paint. Now that's actually a little bud there, so we'll paint that as well, don't forget. I know I'm doing pink again, that's because Kelly's not here and she'd tell me off, you see. She says, Mum, you're always painting in pink, so when she's not looking, I do more pink. Then we're going to come down to here, because that's our next bit of kind of colour. So we'll put that in down there. So if you were doing these for a wedding, let's say the wedding's on Saturday, you could make the wedding, you could start making your cookies on the Monday, and then you could get them all painted by Tuesday and then pop them in a just sort of a, not even airtight, just sort of a couple of box lids together, and then crack on with a wedding cake if that's what you're doing, or whatever it is else that you've got doing. So you can do them in advance. You don't need to do them all like the day before or anything. You can do these in advance. Once they're dry, if you give them 24 hours to dry, then you can put them into bags if that's what you want to do. It's entirely up to you. I know we like pink. There we go. There's another one there. So we're just following whatever is on here. We're not making any of this up. It's there already. It's when you have to go back and look, and then you can see what you've missed. I've normally missed something along the lines. It's normally one of these buds, because it looks like a leaf, you see, sometimes. So you're going to go through and do all the pink first. So I think I've got it all. And then we'll clean our brush and we're going to go for the Woodland Green. So let's turn that round. It's very hot. Grab some cocoa butter and Woodland Green and put a bit of white in there. We want that brightened up again. We don't want it as dark as that. All the colours I use, I always mix with white to start with, because they are too dark. And if you put them together, it's just too much, especially if you're trying to do something sort of quite soft. So always mix with white, because you can always paint a darker colour over the top. You can't paint a darker colour. It's just much more difficult to kind of reverse it. So we're going to put this cut on here. So we're going to paint these leaves. So again, you're just following along. This is a very small paintbrush, so it's well worth having a small paintbrush. This is 0. We do 0, 0 as well, which also helps you if you want to get into any other sort of kind of like nook and crannies to get it any smaller. We'll just follow that round. So we're on our first colour at the moment, so we can always add to this, which we probably will, because one is never enough. And again, we'll just paint the leaves as we go up. I always think one colour is very flat, so that's why I always go back and put a second layer on everything. And you'll see what I mean in a minute for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about. Because I'm always talking about something to do with cocoa butter painting, so... Right, let's go up here and I'll continue. Now I haven't done the central stem yet. I'm going to come back and do that. So all I'm focusing on at the moment is the leaves. I'm just getting those done. So you can see it's starting to come together. It's looking very pretty. And the pattern is meant to go together. So it's been designed by Marion at Patchwork Cutters. So it does go together to create a nice sort of garland. Now if you find it starts to get a bit tricky, which it is a little bit there, just turn it round and pop your paintbrush in that way. Sometimes it can kind of clip the edge. So we'll turn it round that way. And then we'll carry on. Just where the sugar paste has kind of gone in. Or if you've got a point that you need to get to, again, it's just a little bit easier. Just to do it like that. There we go. Like so. We're still here. No one's gone yet then. We'll keep going. I don't think I've been on that long. How long have I been on? Nearly an hour. Okay. I'm not normally on as long on Thursdays as I am on a Tuesday. Although Tuesday's one wasn't that long this week because that cake is so quick to do. It's a really quick cake to do. But so many people ask about it and I thought, right, I'll do it. And then you can see just how quick it is. So it's a nice one to do if you want to do it quickly. If someone asks you for an emergency birthday cake, and I am getting emergency birthday cake emails all the time at the moment. And they get offered cupcake bouquets, to be perfectly honest, because I haven't got time to do anything else. Right, okay, so we've got to that point there, and then what we'll do is we'll take the brush again and we will go from the bottom. So we'll start the stem there. We're just going to let the brush follow the stem through. So I'm just going to make sure I've got paint on it to start with, and I'm just going to let it flow through. So I'm just basically letting the indent kind of guide the brush. As long as there's paint on it, it should be fine. Make sure your brush is thin enough. Don't try and do this with a brush that's too thick because it won't work. It will look horrible. So get the right brush and then you're going to have no problems at all. It's going to be nice and easy for you. Again, just follow that through. If you make a mistake, you can, with a scriber, sometimes just scratch this off. So if this sugar paste was dry, so what you could do is you could do all your cookies, cover them with sugar paste, emboss them, and then leave them to dry overnight, and then you could come back and paint them. So you don't have to paint them all on the same day. You can always come back and do it. Also, as well with this, if you wanted to add any other little bits, you know, if you perhaps felt you wanted an extra leaf or flower or whatever, you could add that as well. Now, while I've still got the green on here, I'm just going to add a little bit extra dark. I may as well. I'm just going to go back and just make some points of this a little bit darker. So perhaps just kind of like underneath the leaves here. So we'll just blend in a darker colour, and this will start making it look a little bit more kind of 3D. So we'll do that next. So this is the Woodland Green colour, which is one I use a lot. There we go. And round here as well. Like that, you can see it makes them stand out a little bit more. And over here, so just underneath, so it doesn't take long. I am faffing a little bit with this because I want you to kind of just see how to do it properly rather than me racing through it. So let's take that down there and then round this side. So I've missed that little bit there, so that's standing out nicely. Okay, turn it round. It's upside down for me and you at the moment. Put a little bit on the back of that calyx as well, maybe. Even a little bit down some of the lines. Okay, and then what we'll do is clean our brush up. But now I'm just going to clean it now because I didn't clean it between the two greens. It wasn't worth it. And we'll go back to the pink. Let's turn that round. Hot, hot, hot. And then what we'll do is grab some of the blush pink, and we'll add that to the blush pink and white. And what we'll do again is we'll just go around the edges of some of these petals, just so they are not flat in colour. So this isn't neat blush pink, we need that in a minute to do the centre. So we're just going for kind of a halfway house with this at the moment. And we're just going to go around some of the edges. Like that. You can even do the centres white if you want to. It's up to you. You don't have to do them pink. Like that. Are you liking this? Do you think this is good? Amazing what you can do with these patchwork cutters, I'll tell you. There's so many nice things you can do. There we go. I'll grab that. Put a little bit more on there. And notice I'm not being too particular about where I kind of put the paint. I'm just kind of putting it anywhere. But mainly kind of, I suppose, on the outside edges of these flowers. But what I'm not doing is covering them completely. I don't want to cover them, because if I do that, then what's going to happen is that then I'll lose all the colour that's there already. And then I'm going to take my brush again. I'm just going to go for kind of neat blush pink. So I've now got the darkest version. All right, so I haven't need to add any black or anything horrendous to it. It's now back to beginning. And I'm just going to go into the centre of these flowers like so. So this has all been painted with the same colour. And I'm just going to fill those bits there. Again, it's a little bit sort of embossed, so you'll see where you need to go. You don't need to kind of make it up. And we'll just do it in there as well. With that one, and then this one at the top here. And then you can kind of see how much that changes it just by doing that. So there you go. So that one there. And then what we could do, because you know I like these little mini things, so let's start playing with the mini pearls. Now I bought these for a totally different reason. And I am thinking, oh dear, because I bought a lot of stock to make some stuff that's coming up autumn winter time, because I thought I'll be really organised this time and get this done. So I bought these in. Now I've been putting them on everything. We're going through them like wildfire. We just had another delivery, so we have got some in at the moment, but they are proving to be difficult to get hold of. They are tiny 2mm shimmer pearls, so they're a little bit shimmery. There we go. But they're brilliant, and they are very nice for these type of things. So let's get some little bit of royal icing here, and then what you can do is you can literally just tap a little bit of royal icing in place, and you can literally just drop that. What I'll do is I'll put a little bit more in than that. You can just drop some pearls amongst this, so you can literally just chuck them on there and they'll stick. But if you're a little bit like me and you like things to be in the right place, it might take you a little bit longer, and you can always move them around. There you go, like that. Plus the sugar paste is a little bit soft, but you can just use them as highlights. You could also pipe, so if anybody's thinking, well, why didn't you just get the piping bag out? Yeah, you could pipe as well, if you prefer that. These are a little bit pearlescent, so they stand out a little bit more, whereas the icing would be matte. There you go. So you could do that. It's just about sort of fiddling and making these just look really pretty. Obviously, if you've got 100 to do, then you might speed up a bit, but I don't think you'd be faffing over them quite like I am. But this could also be a birthday cake as well. You know, if this was a birthday cake for somebody, maybe, nice birthday cookie. They'd be quite pleased with that, I think. There you go. And then maybe we'll have a few more over here because we've got a few gaps here. Let's put some down here. Let's see what we've got coming out here. Don't need actually that many extras on this one, just a few kind of spaced in the right place. There you go. See, that makes it look really nice as well. So yeah, I've tried tweezers there. I'm hopeless with tweezers. So therefore you can do something like that. If I lift that up there, you'll be able to see what I've done a bit closer. Then I just kind of tip it side by side and you can see what you can do with those. Okay, so let's put that one over there for the moment. Now I'm going to just move these. I'm going to put the lid back on because I'll tell you now, if anyone's going to spill them, it'll be me. Let's bring this one back in. So I'm going to leave that one there for the moment. In fact, before I finish this one, you could, if you wanted to, if you felt the need to, pipe across there as well, or you might prefer to kind of leave it as is. So you might just like the whole kind of flowing thing. In that case, you don't need to pipe a sort of central line like that. You can just leave it. But again, it's entirely up to you. This one here, so what we're going to do with this one, we're just going to make some little mini roses. Now there's a little tiny rose on this one of tiny decorations, this mould is called, and you'll need your Saraceno paste, Saraceno, however you want to say it, and I'm just going to take some here. You're going to need it. I'm going to do them white actually. I think I want to do them pink, but I'll get told off by Kelly, so I'll do them white. And then we'll take some of this. Move that over there, put a little bit of icing sugar down because we don't want it to stick, and then we're going to press this into this mould here, which has got this little rose in it. Where's my palette knife gone? There it is. So again, if you put too much in, just take a bit out with the palette knife. Don't try and do it with a sharp knife, and just bend it back, and you just end up with this tiny little rose. Can you see that? It's very tiny and it fits these cakes really well. So we're going to just make up, how many should we do? Let's do 4, which isn't quite on the floristry scale, but it will make more sense in a minute when I show you. So we'll press that down in there like that. Stuck to my finger now. All right, like that. There we go. 2 more. And let's grab those. Now you can paint some little leaves behind these if you want to, or if you prefer, you could always use a bit of royal icing with some green mixed in with it to back them up. So if you prefer that look, you could do that. Might set that up did put an icing bag out for that one. See if I can do that one in a minute so you can see what I mean. So I'll press that one down like so. There you go. Get our little rose coming out there. So if you wanted to do some, oh, I've got the lid on those things, yes. Right, so if you wanted to make some little roses, then what you would need, oh look, roses, leaves even, you would need PME number 51 nozzle, which is a little leaf nozzle. Now what we need here is to get the PME 51, not Wilton 352, which is the other leaf nozzle. It's too big, so you will need a 51 PME. I think I might have some actually, which is unbelievable because there's so many nozzles out of stock at the moment. It's just incredible. And then I'm just going to take some of the icing, just pop a little bit in there, don't need very much today. And then I've got Colour Splash Leaf, which is my favourite colour. I'm just reading about Nikki's trained her dog to sleep during the lives. Brilliant. Right, okay, then we're just going to mix that through. This is my favourite green. I use it on everything. I use it in buttercream, I use it in royal icing, I use it in sugar paste. I think it's a really nice green. It's not too overpowering. It's just quite a nice sort of pretty green colour. Okay. So I'm not going to make up huge amounts because obviously I'm only doing one cookie. So we'll just do that. What do I do with the bag? There it is. Right, so just pop that in like so. Down to the bottom. Let's get that out of the way so I don't make a mess. And then what we'll do, so you can push that down to the bottom there like that. Can you see it coming out the end there? Just wipe that because I washed my nozzle up before I came live, so there's probably a bit of water in there. And then I'll take my royal icing rather than water because I need to make sure this actually sticks. Let's just break that. There we go. Royal icing tends to set on the end. It's a bit of a nuisance with that. And then what we'll do is we'll put a group of 1 and then a group of 3. So we'll put that in there. So flowers tend to be in groups of 1, 3 or 5. They look a bit more funny when they're groups of 2. So they tend to be sort of a little bit more like that. And then we'll take this here. Now all you need to do is literally squeeze it and pull. You hardly need to squeeze it. It's very tiny. So squeeze and pull. Let's turn that round. Squeeze and pull. Same with this one here. Squeeze and pull. Tiny little leaves, but they make all the difference. They actually kind of lift it. Like so. Can you see? Then it makes it look a bit more like a wedding cake. All right, so it's very similar to the one I've got this weekend. So you'll see that and go, yeah, we've seen that. Tracy's done that before. But in a cookie form, not the other thing. Right, so let's put that one there. Now let's bring this one back in again. Now with what we're going to do with this one, let's put that over there so we don't end up in a muddle, is I'll bring them all in at the end so you won't miss any of them. I'm just going to take some of this royal icing glue that we used at the start, and I'm just going to go across the bottom here, just make it a little bit sticky, like so. And I'm going to take these lovely little balls that I love. Yeah, the leaves do finish it off. The leaves are really important. Do not underestimate the value of green on these things. Right, this is where I start throwing them all over the place again. So I'm going to put some of these on here. Hopefully they'll stick. Let's put a bit more on just to make sure. Right, if I do that, I'll stop them running off as well. These are very weddingy, these little Perels. I think they are anyway. They're really sweet. And they just make everything look fine, you know, a little bit like the whole kind of baby's breath I was talking about the other week to somebody. They just make it look really pretty. Okay, so something like that. And you could even follow that through up a bit further. Yeah, hen party would be a good one. Let's do this up here. So let's put a few more here and here. I'll put maybe some up there as well. Put a bit more icing in this time so they'll stick a bit better. And then we'll just drop them in place. They'll only stick where you've put the icing. See, that one's gone in a rogue place, and if I tip it, it's just going to fall off. So there we go. A few there, a couple up there. And again, you will be a lot quicker at these than me because I'm sort of fiddling about. I mean, I drew out 10 designs to give you an idea, and that was just 10 for this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this again when I come back off holiday. I'll go through another live of wedding cakes, because we're in wedding season and there's going to be an awful lot of different ideas I've got for this. So let's just roll with it for a couple of weeks on a Thursday, maybe, and see how we go. There we go. So you've ended up with kind of that one like that, and you could always put a shimmer on here as well. So if you wanted to paint that with something, a luster of some description, then you could do that, and that would then help you with that. Right, let's get them all back in from this morning, and then what I'm going to do is show you the ones I did the other day, so you've got a bit of a comparison. I'm just going to blow this candle out because I have a very bad memory, and I'm going to leave this work unit shortly, and I always worry I'm going to leave this thing on. So let me just lift this off for a second. Right, there we go. And I would forget. Okay, so these are the ones that I've done this morning. I'm going to turn the board around now actually so we can get more on. Let's go that way. So we have got, there we go, we can line them all up. So we've got 4 completely different designs. So we've got this one here, which was done with the blue and white, blue and pink Ditzy floral, which is the little sugar sheets. And all I did here was cut out some little triangles and then just made bunting off there. So it's very sweet, very easy and quick to do this one. I know I was fiddling about a bit. That's because the sheets weren't cooperating with me, but that's just me. This one here was probably the quickest actually, is the bow from the bow mould. So that's come from this mould here. And then we just cut out some little ties there, and then we literally just stuck some little balls on there just to make it look very weddingy, that one, isn't it? Very pearlised and pretty, that one. This one here was done with the Blossom Cutter, which belongs the patchwork cutter. It's the Blossom and Leaf one, and all I did was emboss it and then sat here and painted it. So again, you can do absolutely anything along those lines. This one here I've done, this is a kind of replica of what I've got this weekend actually. So this is the marble one, with the white centre and then the pale grey on top. So again, I thought let's do this because I'm doing this at the moment, so it's obviously in fashion, so because I've been asked to do it. So let's see what we can come up with, and then I'm going to show you the ones that I did the other day. So I did these on another live. Let me bring those across. Okay, so these are some other wedding cake ideas. So this one here, I'm just going to bump you up there a second. So this one, let's move that up. All I did here was put loads of pearls on there, and then I've got a little tiny cutter now. Well, it's not a cutter, it's a mould actually. It's called Multi Gem, which I then used one of Carol's colours, one of the pink colours, and just painted. Oh no, I didn't. I used Ice Pink Sorbet and finishing sparkle. That's what I did, and painted that over there. So that's another sort of wedding cake idea here. Now the other one. This one, again, similar to the Blossom one here, but I just used the leaves this time, and then I used the tiny decorations to do a garland coming down a cake, and then I did the 3D roses that went on there like that. And I didn't pipe any green behind there because it didn't need it, because we've already got the painted leaves on there already. So again, that's kind of a bit of a version of that one really. So it's between these two here. So these have come out of the same set. So this is both out of Blossom and Leaf, except I only use the leaves on this one, and then I use the pattern to do the other one. So this is the same patchwork cutter for that. And then finally I did this one, and the reason I did this one is because from what I can see, this is one of the most popular wedding cakes that are out there at the moment, and it's the peach one. This is the peach one with all the big bubbles and the little tiny bubbles that's all over it. And I know that some of you will have seen this because I see it all the time. Every time I'm online, this cake pops up. It's so lovely, and I thought, right, let's do a cookie cutter in this as well. So what I did was I actually used, of all colours, just basic orange and dyed the sugar paste a peachy colour. So I just put in the tiniest amount to give me this peach colour. And then I made the white roses from the tiny decoration mould. So we made it from this mould here, remember, and popped those on in there. Then I piped the same as I did with the marble one. So that's 352, sorry, not 352, it's 51 PME. And then I used the little nonpareils again, and then I piped bigger balls with the royal icing this time, so I could get some contrast in there as well. So that's what I did to kind of make those look all different. So there you go. There is a huge selection there of wedding cakes that have all been done with the same cutter, which is this one here, the tall wedding cake cutter. which is now available on my website. We've literally just had a delivery in. So if anybody is waiting, I don't think there might be 1 or 2 people waiting at the moment. They are going to go out in either today or tomorrow, but they are on their way now. So it's all come from one cutter. I will take a photo of them because, you know, I always say it's quite difficult to see absolutely everything that I've done in front of me online on the cameras. So I will take a photograph of them and put them onto my Instagram and onto Sugar and Crumbs as well, and I will make the video available on YouTube, so you can always go back across to YouTube and pick it up there as well. So if you join me later on and you've missed the start and you want to see how I did all the others, then you can pop over and have a look at those. But basically I've just been using little bits of cutters, little bits of moulds that I've got, just some basic piping equipment, bit of painted, a bit of edible sheets. So there's so many different things you can do, and it's something that you can literally just tinker away at and have a look at the wedding cakes online, and then you can see exactly what it is that you want to kind of replicate. So this little gem here is a product called Iced Pink Sorbet, which is on the website, and then I just sprayed it with a product called Finishing Sparkle, and that looked really pretty, and that's kind of how I've ended up with that. And the mould for that one is the multi-gem cutter. I can see it. Let me just go and grab it. Right, so this is FPC multi-gem. Can you see all these little tiny gems that are in here? And when I come back off my holiday, I'm going to paint some of these up with the Wonder Dust, and then you'll be able to create some sort of nice sparkly princessy type cakes. So this is on the list to do when I get back. So there's a nice big heart, but it's got some sort of well, what's it, faceting, isn't it? It's not flat, it looks like gemstones, so it's actually quite a pretty mould, that one. So there you go, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you like with it. It's certainly going to keep you occupied, and I say it doesn't all have to be about weddings, it can be birthday cakes as well. Yeah, the pearls are in stock, don't faint. They are, although I have to say, I don't know, I've got my bag around here somewhere. We had them delivered and one of them was in the bottom, as in like everywhere. So yeah, delightful. I love it when that happens. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me for this morning's wedding cake cookie decorating demonstration, which I think is the right word then, gone out of my head. I am going to come back and do more, but it won't be next week because I'm on holiday. I'm off to Yorkshire with my daughter, not Kelly. I'm taking Charlotte this time, so Kelly's in charge of the mail order. There will be some communication via email from me, but most of it will be from Kelly. So I am disappearing for a week. How nice. So thank you very much. If you want to have a go at these, the wedding cake cookie cutter is in stock now. It's on traceyscakes.co.uk. You can see the address up there. You're very welcome, everybody. Gillian, I've noticed that you've been watching, so I'm expecting some fantastic results after she's done the footballs literally in less than 24 hours since I showed you how to do it. Yeah, just to remind everyone as well, if you want to have a go at making football cupcakes, then this little demonstration on how to do this is in 2 places. It's on YouTube, which is with the butterfly one that I've just did because I did it right at the end, and also on TikTok as well. If anybody follows me on TikTok, you'll find it on there as well as a really quick kind of demonstration, all over very, very quickly. So there we go. So I will be back, not next Tuesday, not next Thursday, not next Saturday. Where's that? The following Tuesday, whenever that is. What's that? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not next Tuesday, it's following Tuesday, and that's when I'll be back on another live. So thank you very much for joining me this morning, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye for now.